Here.
Ford,
Here.
Van Zant,
Here.
Hopper,
Here.
Webb.
Here.
I'd like to declare that we have a quorum on the consent agenda. I would like to make a motion that we group items 1 through 7 together and approve the consent agenda.
I'd second.
Lively,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Van Zant,
Yes.
Hopper,
Yes.
Webb.
Yes.
Do we have any remarks or inquiries pertaining to any items not on the agenda from the audience this time? Okay, looks like we can move on to item number 8, the financial report.
Adrian's on remote this.
Hey, Adrian.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for allowing me to do this remotely tonight. I really appreciate it. I'm feeling very pregnant right now. Alright, let's go over the financial summary for March. Our average daily census is 14.45. This is up from 2 days from February and about 3 days up from the 2023 average. The acute payer mix for March is 98% for Medicare, and the prior month was 92%. The 2023 average was only 79%, so it's up quite a bit from that one. The swing bed payer mix for March was 95% for Medicare and 5% for Medicare Managed Care. The operating margin was a loss of $116,000, which is actually up $42,000 from February, which is great. Net patient revenue was $1.35 million for the month, which is an increase of $209,000 from February. 340B revenue was $14,000 for March, which is a decrease of $2,500 from February. Operating expenses were at $1.48 million for March, which is up about $69,000 from the year-to-date monthly average for 2024. Patient days for March were at 448, which is a huge increase from last month, which was at 306. Cash receipts for the month were at $1.24 million, which is a significant increase from the of $527,000 from last month. Disbursements were at $1,073,000 for March. Our cash balance at the end of March was $809,000. That gives us about 16.9 days of cash on hand, which is an increase from February of about $162,000. This is all being driven by cash receipts. And for the clinic, average visits for the month were 7.4 per day. Year-to-date revenue for the clinic is at $43,000. Year-to-date operating expenses are at $143,000. That's resulting in a net loss of about $100,000 for the month of March year-to-date. That is it from me, unless you guys have any questions.
Does anybody have any questions? Okay.
This is Dennis, and Adrian, you can add, one thing you can add is that, March, the ERS loan of $85,000 a month was
Yes.
paid in full, so we finally have that one paid off.
Yes, good point. Thank you, Dennis.
What is our average monthly cost? Like to operate the hospital, like per month, what does it cost? On average.
Pull up on the board packet here.
Operating expenses, year-to-date, $1,414,414.
I have access to it, I can take, it's at 1.4 million parcel, 1,414,000 is what we're averaging for the year.
Yep, there it is.
What does it I guess I could just divide out what the average monthly expenditures are for the clinic. How much do we spend per month on, nurses from the cohesive staffing?
Tell ya, let me see. Contract labor. In March, it was 364,000. February was 292,000. January was 298,000.
Have we gone ahead and taken, has the new loan come through for the, I am at a loss for words today. I apologize, for paying down like the expenditures that we had, like where we had to do the payback to the government and we had to take a new loan out.
For ERS?
ERS, did that
Yeah,
go
we-
through?
Yeah, we've already been paying it.
Okay.
So if we're down 85,000, what are we paying a month now?
I think 69 a month.
Well, that's significant.
Yep.
And as of last month, at the end of March, how much money do we owe in total
To Medicare?
to everybody? All debt?
Dennis, did you hear that question?
No, I'm sorry, what was the question?
He
Or-
said,
or total
how
debt.
much total debt do we have to everybody, Medicare, everybody?
Including
You
cohesive?
just want total liabilities?
Total liabilities, yep.
So 22 million, looks like at the end of March. About the same for the last 3 months.
So break that down for us.
Break it down.
It's on page 72
I
on
figured it was, I
on
just
your
read that
thing.
too, so. 71?
70.
72.
Okay.
72.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is a financial statement question, but did we ever get paid, from the lawsuit thing and have all the debts that we incurred with that been paid?
Yes.
Okay.
It just doesn't reflect on this
Okay.
agent summary report.
Corey, have you also been taken care of? Okay. Corey, how much do we owe you?
Y'all have actually caught up to me.
Okay. Cool. Okay, that's my question. Does anybody
Yeah,
else have?
is there a plan to pay those things off? I mean, that's my question.
The 22 million?
Well, yeah, I mean, you've got your accounts accounts payable of 13, almost 14 million, due to cohesive, 5 million.
I'm just
Yes.
wondering if, something catastrophic happened, how's that gonna be paid off?
Like Dennis has said before, Cohesive takes their piece of the pie very last. They make sure we pay all of our other notes payable first before Cohesive gets paid. As for something catastrophic happens,
Yeah, I mean, we have 16, 17 days of cash on hand. That's what drives my thinking when we're talking about spending more money. I mean, obviously.
absolutely.
And I feel like we represent the city here too. And so, I haven't been privy to the contract, so I'm not sure, how things would go down if we cease to exist,
If the hospital closed.
Yeah, for some reason, or we were cut off from Medicare for some kind of non-compliance, not that that's likely to happen, but
and you may not be the one to do
No,
that,
yeah.
but I think we
I think
need
God
some
will take that on the
I
phone.
think we as a board need some education on some of the questions that we have about our debt. Does anybody else agree with me? It's not on the agenda, but I just feel like I would like to know how bad our situation is. Is it really the 22 million, or are the accounts payable, is that old enough that it's been written off by some of our,
Some of our vendors.
yes.
I don't know the answer to that off the top of my head, no. I would have to do some digging for you on that, on the 13 million.
Yeah, maybe
I know we
asking
owe
the wrong
Cohesive
people,
the
but-
5 million that's payable to them, the money they kicked in. The 13 million, Dennis, on that, do you have a breakdown?
Well, I can answer a couple of those questions, and one is a good one because a couple of years ago, Medicare did cut off the hospital, and again, a lot of these things, most of these things were inherited, and Cohesive did fund that. Unfortunately, we were able to work with some reimbursement people that we had contacts with, and when I had personal contacts, and we were able to get the faucet turned back on. That was certainly a scary time. But Cohesive did step in and fund that, and we funded just about everything. And I know the board, most of the board that's been there for a few years has heard me talk about this, but we tried to make sure that we focused on making sure every vendor was paid, and we pay 100% of their invoices. And we especially try to make sure that all the local vendors are paid. So those are the ones that are paid first. Obviously, before you ever get to where you're decreasing your payables, you have to make a profit. And we're certainly not at that point yet, but we have made tremendous progress, and this year will show that direction. But the short version is that the payables to Cohesive have been the ones that have covered the shortfall. But we have done a pretty good job, a really good job, I would say, of making sure that everyone else, all of our other vendors are kept current. We currently are projecting, we'll file our cost report this year at the end of May. We are projecting a receivable, a pretty big receivable, and then that will certainly, or should have a positive impact on our cash, our days in cash on hand, where we are. So it's not where we want to be, but we certainly feel by the end of May, we'll be in even a much better cash position. I should say July, because it'll probably take a couple months to get that better position than we are even today. It's a good and a valid question when you look at something from financial statements, and especially if you're looking at them for some of the first times. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, that's helpful.
Any further questions?
Moving on to item number 9. The discussion related to Plexus med dispensing system.
So, last meeting, we talked about the Pixis Med Dispense situation we have. I wanted a little bit more information. So this was a pretty big breakdown that we did for y'all between the Pixis, us purchasing a server and doing the fair market value at 18.5. But I will tell y'all, during the, and what we are currently paying monthly of the 31.55, during the investigation of this, talking with Med Dispense, which is Touchpoint Medical, our Med Dispense is at end of line, essentially. So 6 years, and they recommend updating at 5. That's Touchpoint, of course. The oldest system they have right now out functioning is 8. The oldest they've ever had is 10 years old, and per his conversation with us was if they can find parts for a machine that's that old. So we went back to Pixis and kind of let them know that we weren't happy with where we were on our current quote we had with them. So they went ahead and we got, as you can tell, we got a Med Dispense new, so this is purchasing brand new from them. And then we got Pixis purchasing brand new. It is an 84-month contract compared to a 60-month. And then we got the Omnicell. We went positives, talking between the several, again, Pixis, there would be a new implementation. It would be new server, new everything. Would come with this $46.70 a month. But the one thing that got me with the med dispense was they require an additional $1,100 service fee on top of that monthly. So you're looking technically at $57.70 instead of $46.70. So it comes down to a total of $358,000 over the 60 months.
So I was a little confused on the med dispense current.
That's what we
that
currently have.
currently have.
And that's our current monthly payment,
The-
if we continue that agreement that we have.
So the 37,860
A
is
year.
over a year, but it's paid monthly.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, then, okay.
And the first column is your original purchase?
That, the med dispense purchase, that is if we bought what we currently have outright. If we paid our fair market value of $18,500 is what is currently fair market value for that machine. And then our server purchase, because remember, we need a new server. We've gotta buy a new server. At any point in this, we have to have a new server. Whether it's we decide to go with a new system or stay with med dispense and just update the med dispense, we have to purchase a new server. And then the yearly service charge is the $59.40 a year for the service charge, if we purchase what we currently have outright.
So why is that 34,535 the sum of
Yes,
the 590, or the service fee, the fair market value, and the server? Okay, and then after that point, it's $59.40 a year.
yes, sir.
Is how you're computing that.
Yep. Now, we did add, because a big talking point we have about Pixis is, if you notice at the bottom, we did add a pharmacy on call. So with med dispense, it only will hold right around 300 individual medicines. Pixis will hold right around 400 to 500. With that, we will have a decrease of pharmacy on call time. Currently, we're paying right around $1,000 a month for pharmacy to be on call to refill medicines we don't have in our med dispense.
How much a month?
$1,000 a month.
Yeah, but if you're looking at total cost savings, I mean, even paying that, you're paying less.
So what's changed that you're paying for the pharmacy on call to fill up the med dispense? Because as I understand it, the way the pharmacy currently operates, Monday through Friday, you have a nurse that's in there 8 to 5.
Yes.
After hours, the nurses on the floor can go into the pharmacy
have
and get what they
pharmacists on
need, and the
call.
pharmacist, the quote-unquote pharmacist that's licensed, shows up to the facility on site 1 or 2 times a week or every day or whatever they do
So
periodically to check
This is a
orders.
pharmacy tech. This is a
Okay.
pharmacy tech on-call time. So this is a pharmacy technician's on-call time to be on call because of the inability of med dispense to hold more medicines for us and to hold more controlled substances.
So the $12,000 for the pharmacy on-call isn't accurate. It's actually $12,000 a year times 7 years.
Yes.
Okay, so that
That's just
300.
yearly time. That's just yearly. I'm
Well,
sorry.
but
Yeah, I
you're
see what you're saying.
accumulating that with regards to the 12,000. You're assuming it's a year, so that's actually, when we're looking at the med dispense new, it's much more
Yeah, it's much more than it was.
than that 358,000. So there is some cost savings there.
There's gonna be a lot of cost savings with going with this. And Pixis has given us a discount of 350. From what we originally had with them. $357 extra, credit.
So you have the pharmacy tech on call because the med dispense doesn't hold enough.
Correct.
As well as troubleshooting issues.
I was gonna say, but having a pharmacy tech on call because it doesn't hold enough doesn't really sound accurate if the nurse has access to the med room and can go in and obtain what they need.
And they cannot load the med dispense.
Right.
So
But
if
how
we get
often
a-
is the med dispense running out in the middle of the night? Cause the med dispense,
But if we get a new patient on medicines, would they come out and load it for them, so they don't have to go into the pharmacy?
One of
Because
the-
that is a state board of pharmacy reg to not have extreme access into know that from Jackson County with our house supervisor.
We try to limit that.
We're not supposed to go in the main pharmacy
Right.
as much as we can.
So,
Texas will hold more meds.
the med dispense new then, the total number is 430,200 as opposed to
Yes. I'm
Pixis.
sorry, I didn't have that.
Pixis is 391,906. So there is a cost savings.
Yes, sir.
What is your recommendation, Kevin?
Recommendation after talking with MedSpense, Pixis, looking at both of them, looking at the security of both of them. Personally, I would go with Pixis. If we're gonna update, and it is a cost savings, it is a better system, that it's supported better. I mean, this tells you right here with our yearly support, or the monthly support of $1,100, they're gonna charge us $1,100 to support MedDispense. Pixis is built in. We're not gonna have an extra charge for the entire length of the 84 months. They extended it since we did an extended, rental lease agreement with them from 60 months to 84. They went ahead and extended their service contract. And that's 24/7, communication with their service technicians, with parts, and ability to come out.
So it's almost like comparing apple to oranges to me. So the med dispense new is only a 5-year contract.
Correct.
So we would have to go back and either,
We would own it, we would own the med dispense at that point, at 5 years.
But nobody's held it for longer than 8.
Nobody's held the med dispense for longer than 8.
so what's the difference between the med dispense current, the med dispense purchase, and,
That's just our current
The med-
contract that we're paying.
okay,
The med dispense purchase is if we purchase our current med dispense we have in the facility.
And keep it.
The current is if we continue to pay the $31.55 a month, that is our monthly payment that we make on that machine right now. If we do not purchase it outright as a facility.
okay.
This is still a rental, the current is still rental. And then we go to the med dispense new, that is us buying a brand new, or purchasing a brand new system over 60 months.
So there will be nobody on call, no on-call charges.
According to what Alex
For
from the
Pixis.
pharmacy says, yes, he's a pharmacist.
But you also need to add into the cost of Pixis the server, correct?
No,
No?
no, that's in there. That's in the 4755.
Okay.
So looking at it, let me pull that up. So the med station equipment, just for the equipment, not the server, is $47.26 a month. The Dell server is $386, which came to a total of $51.12. They gave us a credit of $357 per month with their new quote that they gave us. Since they know we're getting closer and closer, they gave us a little bit more off, which comes to the $47.55 per month. That's with the server and service.
Okay, the one thing I see here is we just talked about how many millions we're in debt.
Mhm.
If this is not broke, why are we so in need of doing this right now? Because this is a lot more money, a lot more debt we're taking on, when we should be trying to go the opposite direction.
So right now, this machine needs a new server. Again, that's $10,000. But even if this machine breaks, it's out of commission, it's done, unless they can get us parts.
So if it breaks on a Saturday night,
Or gets a virus. You're talking a bigger virus.
do we have any liability in terms of,
Net errors?
yes?
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
And so.
Well, you got that anyway.
Yeah, that's an everyday risk.
Yeah.
Every day.
Any day they pass meds, it's a
Any day.
liability.
Okay,
Somebody's
but,
not paying
so,
attention.
let's say, but like, how do we not have somebody on call? Let's say I go into let's say I go in the hospital and I'm needing, whatever it is, and you don't have it in the system, wouldn't you have to call an on-call person?
This has the ability to house way closer to 90% of our medicines that we have.
So if it's not already loaded,
Yeah.
and you're the exception, you may even have to order it. It's not a formulary medication.
This
Okay,
is
so
a whole
you're
bunch
gonna
more.
order it from, Okay.
Correct, we'd have to get it shipped in, or you would have to bring it in, which makes it easier for us to actually load into the Pyxis for home medicine.
Pyxis will do 300, or MedDispense will do 300 unique medicines. Pyxis will do 500 to 600,
Okay.
depending on how we break the cabinet in.
And absolutely, no matter what, we have to get a new server, right?
No matter
Yeah.
what. Right now, it is a cyber liability.
And the 8 months that I've been here, we have had numerous occasions to where it has gone down, and we've had to call to troubleshoot and reset multiple times. It's been nothing but a headache. And that's, and also another reason is because, so say if something happens and a drawer automatically pops open, and it happened to have a narcotic in it, but it didn't register it, because that was the case with the drawer that didn't have narcotics, and it didn't even register that the drawer opened. It should register every drawer open, and it did not, at all, which was a huge red flag for me. And it doesn't keep track of things like it should. Pyxis does. If it's offline, if the internet goes down, it keeps track of it. MedDispense does not.
And MedDispense, like he's saying, MedDispense has, say, 5 different pockets in one drawer. You can have 5 different narcotics in that drawer. Pyxis, you cannot. You will open a big old tray, and that one drawer, that one pocket will open. So a provider wouldn't, or a nurse would not be able to grab a different medicine at that point. So it decreases diversion. It will do that. It's way more secure. Will decrease medication rates just by grabbing the wrong medicine by chance because of the individual pockets. We talked about the MedDispense being end of life. We will also, Pyxis will allow better control of user access. So if we don't want somebody to access a specific drawer or a LPN not be able to access a specific medication, they cannot access that medicine in Pyxis. MedDispense, we do not have that capability. If another positive with Pyxis, say we get the system that's gonna come out, and they come out with a new system, new upgrade, new update, they are not gonna hold our feet to the fire at 84 months. They're gonna say, okay, we have this capability, you can create a new again, it might be a new price, but if you want the new system, you don't have to pay out your 84 months. We will start a new contract, and we'll let that one be null and void and start a new contract.
And just some perspective, the MedDispense purchase, that 82,175 isn't accurate, it's 154,175. So over the course of the 7 years, it would be 154,000,
a year.
175. And then when you look at what we would pay this year, that 34,535 plus the 12,000, and you look at the cost of 1 year with the other system, it's $10,000 more. And I guess my thought is I've seen technology where it costs us a lot more than 10,000, if something were to break down, that we'd have to find those parts.
And that's from Touchpoint, if Touchpoint can even find them.
In a reasonable amount of time.
So these annual amounts, do include the interest that we're paying?
That will, yes.
It's included
Yes.
in the 57?
Yes.
067?
Because it's just a lease.
Yes, it is just a lease. MedDispense is a purchase.
But
they-
that purchase one, but if we,
Yes. No, the MedDispense new.
Would be a
We would
purchase.
own it at 60 months.
okay, but
Pyxis is, they like the.
It's a
rental.
lease.
It's a lease, so if they need to update you, they can.
and there's no interest on that lease.
Correct.
It is just what it is.
Okay.
So it looks to me like if you're comparing what we're currently doing versus the annual payments for Pyxis, our increase is going to be 20,000 annually. But if you take away if you truly take away the on-call pharmacy, that brings it to 8,000 annual increased costs. Is anybody else looking at it that way?
That's sort of what I was looking at, it's around 10,000.
I mean, I still don't think we can necessarily afford that. is there any way we can limp along on what we're doing and maybe consider that in 3 months?
We can purchase a server from, MedDispense, yeah.
Because we
That's
still
a
have a
risk.
roof to get put on.
We still do have to.
And that needs, that, we know that's gonna have to be paid, so
Yep.
we get committed to all this, what are we gonna do?
Yes, back to Michelle, back to your question, we can purchase a server from Touchpoint for the 10,000. That's already there. And then we can continue, no matter what, you're gonna continue paying either the 3155 or we're gonna have to purchase the system outright, and you still got this amount we're talking about on the, MedDispense purchase.
And my fear is we're gonna be looking at, in the long term, much more costly, because as technology gets newer, it's much more difficult to, I mean, I understand what you're saying, we're in debt, but
Will they hold this quote for a period of time?
We can, again, our big concern is the server, is the intrusion possibility of the server.
Can you lease the server?
It's on the new server purchase, I'm sure that's what it was, this was just for a purchase of.
I'm just wondering if we could have a monthly like a lease agreement to limp us along for, let's say, 6 months, 7 months. Or are we just kicking the can
But
down the road?
that's my thought.
Yeah, you-
What's 6 months gonna do, change our bottom line? It's not.
No, but it will put that roof on, and they'll have to be paid for. I don't know how
What-
we're gonna squeeze it out if you do this.
Dennis, are you still there?
Yes.
Hey, what is your thought on the spending of this money with also including the cost of putting the new roof on?
Well, first part is, I always try to factor the reimbursement piece as well, when I'm comparing cost.
Yeah.
And the reimbursement piece on this is approximately estimated to be about 76%. So when you're comparing one cost to the other, it's about a fourth of it that really is the difference of it. So whatever, if the difference was 10,000, when you get down to it, it's really only about 2,500 between the two. So that's the first piece, and I'm not qualified to talk about the clinical pros and cons
Yeah.
on that. My only concern on the med dispense part too as well is that if its useful life is 5 years, you're gonna be back to purchasing it. So you're probably going to have that expense every year, no matter what, if you're comparing it to fixes. But again, I would say, when you're looking at both of those, you know, you're going to have to, I would look at the net cost, not the gross cost. So about a fourth of it. With regards to the roof, again, we are, I don't remember what the very last quote is, but we are expecting a material cost report settlement. So one of the things, I spoke to Adrian, we were on our call, we do this every Monday when we go through cash, is putting a reserve for capital. And that was the piece of that. So we're planning on reserving for that regardless.
Okay.
I would just say my thoughts are, I think we're just gonna keep kicking the can down the road, and we may end up paying more in the long run as opposed to looking at something now. That's my thought. And I get where you're coming from, Cheryl, because I agree, but I don't know that our circumstances financially are gonna improve anywhere in 6 months, any more than where they are now. And if we're talking $2,500, and I get it's $2,500, but if we're talking $2,500 and we don't have the possibility, because I know when they try to start upgrading servers and put in like other things into a current server, you risk other stuff happening. And so,
My point is, I think we need to make sure that roof is taken care of, then we hit this. It don't have to be 6 months. If we have money to put that roof on right now, then get it on there, and then let's do this next month. If there's that kind of money there.
We gotta wait anyway, because it's not written on the agenda, we can't make a motion to act on it, this was just informative anyway,
Sure.
the way we put it on the agenda. I will tell you, another cost savings we did is, in June, we're gonna have right around $1,500 worth of cost savings because we switched internet companies. We were paying right around $1,800 a month for the clinic and the hospital, 900 of each location, and we changed internet services to where it's 200 at the hospital and 100 at the clinic.
Who'd you switch to?
We switched from Dobson, and Dobson Fiber, and we went to Sparklight at the clinic, and then we have AT&T and Sparklight hardwired in at the hospital. So, but yeah, it was right around 80. So there's gonna be another $1,500 cost savings monthly that we're not gonna be paying. 'Cause
Hey.
technically, we had 3 services at the hospital. When Chad, the IT guy, and myself got to looking at it, we realized that, and we were like, we gotta cancel something. And they were the obvious choice.
Hey, Dennis, real quick, remind me, how many days do we like to keep cash on hand?
Me personally, 120 days.
I was just gonna say, as many as possible.
365 is what mine is.
We try to always keep it a minimum of 10 days.
10 days.
Uh,
Okay, so we got 6 extra
and then-
days right now.
That's what we try to always keep.
Okay.
Also, Dennis, didn't you, refer to something happening with the shop payment that was gonna help us?
Yes, ma'am, and I thank you so much. Jesus, I feel like I should have mentioned, yes, thank you. We are having our shop payment, this quarter, and we have Center Select as well. And so we would this is one of our bigger changes. We've got a piece of that already, but Mangum, I can tell you what their number is for April. Let's see, Mangum's, we should get about 339,000 this quarter, and again, we'll get another payment similar to that next quarter. Now, we've received about 77,000, I think, so we still have the difference between the 339 and 77, so that's about another 262,000. But 339,000 this month that we will have, that we only get once a quarter. And we didn't get the Center Select until this year, so that's an added boost. Thank you for that reminder. It's an excellent point.
So we were talking about the roof. Is that somewhere coming up? I know it's not in this agenda. Is it something that's coming up in the near future?
Yes, sir.
Like next month, near future?
Well, hopefully we'll have some stuff ready for you next month. Our previous contractor did back out at the last minute, and we're having to get new bids.
Corey, are we tinkering on the line here, or we
I would just
jumped across?
Yeah.
I would just ask that we put this back on the agenda next month.
The Pixel stuff, absolutely, yeah.
Since we can't vote on
We
it.
have to, because we can't vote on it.
Yeah.
Oh, we can't vote on this?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
Because it doesn't say a possible action, it just says discussion.
Oh,
Possible action.
I'm glad you're paying attention. Whew.
Just halfway.
I was just, I was like, oh, we need to call for some sort of action here.
We all have blonde roots, but yeah, no, we cannot.
Well, I don't even have any roots. Discussion, let's move on. So we're tabling this item number 9, or no action taken. Moving on to item number 10, discussion and possible action to approve the opening of a new account with one of the local banks with the city of Mangum, inside the city of limits of Mangum.
Yep.
Kelly, you want me to talk about that one?
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Okay, one of the things you always have to worry about for any hospital, because so much of our money comes from the government and from insurance companies, is that you have to make sure that your cash receipts, that's first base, and you don't want anything ever to slow up that process. And if you close an account or have to open a new one, could be catastrophic. So you want to try to avoid that at all costs. And they wanted us to close that account. We didn't want to do that, and I certainly would never recommend that. And the other part that they wanted us to do was basically sign a hold harmless thing, because they hadn't instituted positive pay. I didn't feel like that was very wise either. So we didn't do either of those. And what we recommended is just using the other account that they wanted to create as the checking account. And I asked them if they had automatic sweep account where you just sweep the money. And so they said that they do, and the lady was very nice, very professional, and we did this collectively as a team. So the recommendation was that we'll keep the depository account or the one account open, and it'll only be a depository account. The new account that we open will only be a disbursement account, the checking and ACHs, and there will be an auto sweep so that that will always be funded. And the new account will have positive pay. And what that'll enable is it'll make everybody happy. It'll certainly put another safeguard in there to prevent theft. And we won't have to worry about any hiccups in cash receipts. So that's the recommendation that we have in front of the board. If I've left anything out, Kelly, please feel free to add. And Kelly and Adrian, all of them, Adrian did a lot of homework and a lot of correspondence with this lady, both her and Kelly, to get us at this point, so thank you both.
Where are you guys proposing opening an account?
We're staying with Sovereign.
So it's just staying, just doing?
Just staying with Sovereign, yeah, that's who we have currently. It'll just be a sweep account with them. We just have to have it on the agenda for y'all to approve us to open another account.
I'd like to make a motion that we open a new account with Sovereign Bank.
Do you have any problems with it? Because the last time, none of you were here, the last time sweep account was used, it was not in a good way. It caused a lot of trouble.
Oh, don't need a bank.
What?
Don't need a bank.
So we were sweeping
Can
it.
you please elaborate on some of the issues so we can take note of them and try to prevent them from happening?
But if I remember correctly, we weren't necessarily involved in the setup of that, and we didn't approve that, correct?
No, no.
That happened outside of this entity.
But we still have PTSD.
I understand.
Yeah, I understand that.
But I think, did we not discover that account after the fact, like during all the other?
But a sweep account's just a,
Well, there's only two accounts. I mean, I appreciate the question, Cheryl, and anything that you want to ask. Perfect. There's only two accounts, and one's the depository account, or the accounts that you already have, and this is changing the title towards a depository only. And the other account they're opening is this disbursement account, and so all it is one auto sweep from one account to the other. There's no opportunity for it to go anywhere else but that. That I could possibly think of, and a board member would have to sign if you were opening a third account, so I don't know how that would be a possibility, but we'll certainly, any questions or concerns, I'll certainly make sure we had discussed those with the bank.
Corey, is there something that we can ask for to be included in the financial statements every month that would
Well, I
protect
think
us?
the Bonita Bank issue is a little bit unique because that was essentially used to pay down a line of credit, and it was not set up correctly in accordance with Medicaid guidelines, because they were basically using Medicare receivables, was using Medicare receivables to secure a line of credit, and that was the issue. Since this isn't a line of credit here, and it's just going from account that we control to an account that we control, then it's not the same scenario, basically. Whereas the other one where they were sweeping the account,
To pay
basically
down
from an
the
account
loan.
that we, to pay down a personal line of credit.
Ooh.
So this is a little bit different situation. But yeah, when you hear that sweet thing, you get PTSD from it.
You're signing off, so it's on you this time.
Well, there's my vote.
But since it's going from sweeping from an account we control to an account we control, it's different from how it was set up.
Because we didn't control both accounts.
No, because basically there's lock boxes involved, some lock boxes we knew about, some we didn't, and it was just a whole lot of, it was a tangled knot.
Well, I remember parts of it.
Yeah.
So, do you have a second yet?
Well, I thought you
Everything-
were sending mine.
Our sweep, and I got with crossed eyes and everything got black and white, so, but anyway.
I'll second. I don't, know if you can take you can vote no after you.
Oh, can I?
Yeah.
Okay,
Nothing says
cool.
you have to vote yes.
We'll make sure it carries first before I vote
Did
no. Okay, let's call for a vote.
Hear Roger's question?
I didn't hear.
He just said if there, whatever issues, if you let us know what the issues were,
Yeah, I
we'll
think
take
we
note of
wanted
them,
to
and we'll
know.
address them.
Do we wanna see maybe in the financial reports, like,
That's been dispersed out.
this, like, we had deposits of 1.2 million, and then here we see the sweep, happened on this date with a deposit of 1.2 million.
Yeah, I think his
Yeah.
question was to, what Cheryl mentioned about that, was to elaborate on the issues so that we can address them to ensure that doesn't happen again.
I think
Corey
Corey-
did,
Corey,
yeah.
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 I just didn't know if Cheryl.
We can actually print the financial statements of both accounts and present them to the board every month.
No.
Okay. Let's call for a vote.
Lively,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Van Zandt,
No.
Hopper,
Yes.
Webb,
Yes.
You made a motion, my name's on the checks, I'm the one that's going down.
No, okay. Yeah, well, you look better in orange than me, so.
Yeah, probably not, but
Yeah. Discussion and possible action, moving on to item number 11, discussion and possible action to approve the laboratory distribution member letter of the participation of the Allegiant Purchasing LLC and Mangum Regional Medical Center to receive GPO best pricing for non-Medline brand products.
This is to maximize our GPO, also saying we are going to use Medline products for 85% of our laboratory. When you look at it, the yearly annual savings is $7,820.80, using the Medline products, through our GPO. It's just maximizing our pricing so we get the best pricing we possibly can. We only have to use 85%, and that is it. The other 15%, we can use whatever companies we want to use. But everything goes through our GPO now currently, so.
I'd make that motion.
I will second that motion.
Lively,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Van Zandt,
Yes.
Hopper,
yes.
Webb.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to item number 12, discussion possible action to approve the MRMC and Clinical Pathology Laboratories Agreement to provide clinical and anatomical testing services.
Currently, we use LabCorp as our send-out lab. We are changing to CPL yet again for cost savings for us. They are cheaper in several aspects of our send-outs, but more expensive, but overall, it is gonna be a cost savings for us. And that's really hard to determine depending on how much send-outs you do of each individual thing. But they did have a better cost savings all around. And we got better communication with them. That's all this is to change our reference lab from LabCorp to CPL.
I'd make a motion to approve that.
I'll second.
Lively,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Van Zandt,
Yes.
Hopper,
Yes.
Webb.
Yes.
Moving on to item number 13, discussion possible action to approve the interface performance expectations between the Mangum Regional Medical Center and Evident LLC CPL reference lab for lab reporting.
So this is our interface between Evident and CPL. This was truthfully, this was another driving factor for us. If y'all were, well, I don't know if you remember because it was so long ago, probably July, August, we signed the LabCorp interface agreement, and LabCorp would never get back with us to interface with CPSI or Evident. This is to take place of that interface, because we did not go through with it. Again, it's no cost to us because that is at no cost to us. And this is just an interface, so it'll drop directly into our health record.
So we'll just take them up and get rid of LabCorp.
Correct. Yep, the LabCorp one's gone. We've already stopped it. And this is just to restart the interface with the CPO.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
We could call for a vote at this time.
Lively,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Stanzia,
Yes.
Hopper,
Yes.
Webb,
Yes.
Moving on to item number 14, discussion possible action, approve the termination of service agreement with Laboratory Corporation of American Holdings, LabCorp.
So we can't have two, so I'd make that motion.
I would like to second that motion. If we could call for a vote at this time.
Lively,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Stanzia,
Yes.
Hopper,
Yes.
Webb,
Yes.
Item number 15, discussion and possible action to approve the master equipment and products agreement between Siemens Healthineers, wow, and Mangum Regional Medical Center for Dimension EXL and 200 integrated chemistry system analyzer with consumables and supplies.
This is for a new chemistry analyzer for our lab. Our current analyzer is a Siemens. It is in the last long word, but it's 6 years old. It's the start time to be breaking. We are currently paying a service contract of $12,000 a year for that, $12,600 per year. This is a reagent rental agreement that will cost us $75,000 for the machine. We will do, this is to purchase through Siemens, our reagents for that machine for this. It does come with an extended warranty of 7 years. The cost, okay, so currently, if you look at it, our prior cost is right around $133,000 for reagents that we do not get through Siemens. It's gonna be through Siemens, the $75,000. And then the service contract of the $12,600.
So what was the monthly cost that we were paying prior, and what's our new monthly cost?
Well, he's looking that up. Dennis, can you tell us if this is a writable, can we write this one off as well, or how much can we?
On the reimbursement percent,
Yes.
it's gonna be, I don't know exactly the percent on this, Carson. It's gonna be, very close to the 76% that I said, though, a while ago. I don't have the actual percentage in
fine.
front of me.
Okay.
This one was more of a cost savings, and Adrian did a lot of homework on this and did a really good job, so.
Yes, she did. So we're looking at the breakdown for the expense just from McKesson. This does not include Siemens. Reagents was $120,708 for last year. That was just from McKesson. Other cost was an extra $50,000, $342.56. The difference in cost versus the new contract is gonna save us right around $19,177.63.
A year.
A year.
And we don't have to purchase from those other
Correct.
parties, we can just go through this contract.
We still will, not all reagents, but we still will have to purchase some reagents. That purchase cost is gonna be, estimated.
Is that part of the calculations that you just told me with regards to this cost savings? Or is this in addition to
The total cost savings is still
the 19,000 on top of what we would still have to spend with other
Yes.
reagents?
Yes, sir. Gotta look at all our numbers real quick.
No, you're fine.
She does not break out what we purchased from others, what it would cost us.
But that part would continue regardless of whichever one we went
Yes.
with. So that amount wouldn't change
Wouldn't change
necessarily.
Because it's not factored in on this, correct?
It, just the part that would be the difference between 114,000 and the 133,000. Which, again, I think the numbers are off, but. Oh, no, that's right. So basically, we'd save about $19,000 a year, a little over. I'd make that motion.
Second, we could call for a vote at this time.
Lively,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Van Zandt,
Yes.
Hopper,
Yes.
Webb.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to item number 17.
16.
I just didn't want to read 16. Discussion and possible action to promote Premier Smart PO Access Agreement with the sponsored member between Premier Supply Chain Improvement Incorporated, Alliant Purchasing, and Cohesive Healthcare Management and Consulting LLC for the Mangum Regional Medical Center for Smart PO Light Procurement Software. You guys are doing this just to be cruel to me.
So this is just a software program that Premier offers to Mangum Hospital because we are part of Cohesive. What this will do is if our materials management lady goes out and is looking for a specific product, it will look throughout all of Alliant Premier to make sure we are purchasing the best option for us at the cheapest cost and create that PO for her. It will reduce total labor time, but another big thing is for the first monthly discount, or we do not have to pay anything. Alliant will cover the one-time implementation of $1,000, and our monthly fee is $0 to have access to this for the next 3 years. After 3 years, it will auto-renew for 2-year intervals at that time. So in 3 years, if we want to continue it, it will be a $125 monthly fee. So it would increase every 6 months. But for the next 3 years, we will have access to it free of charge.
That's how they get you.
So you forget about it. Yep, absolutely.
Well, that or you really like the system and you know.
You can't go back to not
Yeah.
having it. You doing paper right now?
Yes. Well, it's done through CPSI. This will be done through the Alliance software.
They'll do look at all the figures on one side to do their comparisons. We should see how these.
There's a compare on that.
Have to go to all the different sites.
I'll make that motion. I was waiting to see somebody would. I was gonna say how long I would wait, but I'll make that motion.
I'll second
We could call for a vote at this time.
Lively,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Van Zandt,
Yes.
Hopper,
it. Yes.
Webb.
Yes.
Now, that's it.
I'm over 17. I'm ready for 18. Discussion
Even without
possible,
18.
yeah. Discussion possible action to approve the Calix Bruner Healthcare Business Associate Agreement with the Mangum Regional Medical Center.
So last month, we approved the CATS Brenner Healthcare Business retainer. Last month, month before. The retainer to utilize them to do our contract negotiations with insurance companies. This is just to have the business associate agreement with them at no cost. They are an existing vendor of ours. It just will help them perform their legal obligations to look and protect them and our protected health information. Just to have the AA in place is all it is.
I'd make a motion that we approve that.
A second.
We may call for a vote.
Lively,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Van Zant,
Yes.
Hopper,
Yes.
Webb.
Yes.
Moving on to item number 18, credentializing.
Yeah, we remember we're gonna start going to.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask. I couldn't remember if it was this or.
We are.
I'd like to make a motion that we go into executive session.
I'll second that.
If we can call for a vote.
Lively,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Van Zant,
Yes.
Hopper,
Yes.
Webb.
Yes.
Do we even need to leave? Okay, welcome back, everybody. I'd like to make a motion that we approve credentializing these two individuals.
I will second that.
Lively,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Van Zant,
Yes.
Hopper,
Yes.
Webb.
Yes.
How do you say Nelson's last name?
Okimbo.
Okimbo. Okay. Item number 19. Don't believe that's necessary. Do we have any staff or board remarks? Can I ask, what did Trademark give you an estimate on?
They have not yet. They, minimum a week. We can talk about it all if you want to. They said a lot. They said a whole lot.
Good. Does anybody else have any remarks or questions? Okay. Does anybody have any new business that was not foreseeable to get on the agenda? Okay. I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
I will second that.
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Van Zant,
Yes.
Hopper,
Yes.
Webb.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion, you need to go to have that looked at.